Should I start playing right now? Should I start?
Yeah, please start.
Okay.
So Kanksha, it's not audible. You'll have to share sound.
Is it audible now?
Not yet.
Even now?
Actually, I think the voice is pretty low. Krisha, okay, I think I can share it. Just unshare.
About happiness in life. Consider that everything that we do about life and everything that we do in life is all about eventually being happy. Happiness is the ultimate goal of life. Levels of happiness could vary, but the higher the level of happiness, the best it works.
Favorite line that I always, love to talk about, and something that I love to use on myself is also that, there is nothing that can't be worked on, right? Everything in this world, almost everything, right? Almost everything is something that can be worked on, could be, developed, right? Could be improved. We as human beings have such amazing capabilities and capacity that once we identify a certain thing, we can definitely try to improve on the same.
If you're really, if it is paining you, probably it's not your strength area, it's a weak area, right? If maths pain you, probably maths is not your strength area. If you love talking with people, maybe communication is your strength area. So some of these things, you will know it yourself. Further, apart from that, do ask your friends. Please ask your friends, what do you think I'm really good at? And they will tell you, rattle down those 3-4 things that you're really good at. Ask your parents. And sometimes parents also tell, मेरा बेटा इसमें से बहुत अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा मैथ्स में अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा दोस्तों के साथ बहुत अच्छी तरह से रहता है. They keep telling these things oftenly without you noticing it. So whatever they repeatedly tell about you, good about you, is your strength area, right? So ask your teachers. Teachers observe you. They see your scores. They see your habits. They see your behaviors. Based on that, they will tell you what you're really good at. Second
so
thing,
what are the changes that's happened things that are looking very different is work from home may continue to be a way of life because organizations have realized, people have realized that nothing, there are lots of things that can be done as well from home and possibly better. And those professions will perhaps continue to enjoy the benefit of working from home, if I might call that. Education and training have already gone digital, but there's a lot of scope of improvement. And with that, there would be a lot of training of the trainers that will come into play. We perhaps will not have to travel so much for work because earlier we used to just take a flight for a 1 hour meeting to Chennai or for some training session to attend in Dubai. And that's
the
definitely
way I look at analyzing work or a analogy to work is more to do with your mind, where you do your all logical things, your aspirations, everything is logical.
The message here is we all have our starting points, we have our journeys, and we have our destinations. So today it might look like we're not headed anywhere, but in the end, it will all work out. So there's no need to be disheartened at all, and it is absolutely fine to be an average. The second part of the story goes where it comes about finding your own mojo. While I was an average student, I ensured just one thing. I kept my desire to learn and keep that fire inside of me ignited. Whether it was traveling, meeting new people, or even exploring new cultures, it was all about upskilling myself for me. Although while learning, I didn't really know where that was actually heading to. But then if I were to look
People say thoughts create reality. What are your thoughts and views on this? Can you explain?
Yeah, so this is well-known quote everywhere. People used to say thoughts create reality, especially when people believe in law of attraction. They say that thoughts create reality, and it is true. Basically, what we are thinking about something in at least for the majority of the time in a day, for example, like 8 to 10 hours, if you're thinking about a particular thing, that's how your belief system gets wired. So according to your thought, your belief system forms a pattern, and based on your belief system is how you act in your everyday life. So if you're believing about something, that's how you react to a certain situation. And so that's how everyone says that thoughts create reality, because your thoughts are going to it's going to be a major part for your belief system, and your belief system is based on how you how you react and respond to it. So it all is interconnected, and that's why your thoughts create reality. So you have to be really tracking what you're thinking in a day. And for example, if it is going to be a negative thought or something, obviously you're gonna ruin your day. If you're fearing about something or it's definitely going to ruin your day, right? You might be waking up very happy and with so much confident and stuff, but when you just meet a random person who just spoils your mood just for a minute, and you're thinking about that whole day, obviously your thoughts are going to affect your pattern, how you react and respond to others, and you're going to ruin your day, the entire day. So thoughts create reality is basically you have to track your thoughts, you have to be positive about it, and that's how your life changes. You should not just do this as a task or something. It's a lifestyle. You have to track it every day.
Thank you.
24/7 chatbot access program is designed to help you sort some emergency access and avails you the 24/7 support system with qualified counselors.
The chat box is open to our learners at all times. You can clear your doubts and queries by simply dropping a question here, and we will try our best to answer them as soon as possible and to the best of our ability.
Benefits of the 24/7 chatbot access for working professionals are: it makes your life easier, it makes you stress-free, it helps you to avail expert advice which will help you in life to go further. Benefits of 24/7 chatbot access program for university students are: it helps you minimize the exam stress, it helps in finding out the life goals. Benefits of the 24/7 chatbot access program for school students are: it helps to reduce stress during exams, and it helps to access counseling sessions and different webinars at MentorMitr.
What does actually 5 a.m. concept mean? And could you please explain this to us in detail?
So this concept was popularized or given to us by Robin Sharma. And what the concept is that you wake up at 5 a.m. and you give yourself 1 hour. You divide that 1 hour into 3 segments of 20 minutes each. 20 minutes of exercising, 20 minutes of planning, and 20 minutes of doing some productive work. And it is important to remember that in that 1 hour, we do the work for self-development. We don't do any professional work. We don't check our emails. We don't use social media. We practice only well-being practices that are useful for our wellness and development. That is the main idea of the 5 a.m. club.
Thank you, ma'am. It was in. So, ma'am, is it practically possible to follow 5 a.m. routine daily?
So earlier, even I used to feel that it's impossible to wake up at 5 a.m. Like, who even does that? But I spoke to a lot of people, I joined a community, and it is possible to wake up at 5 a.m. Of course, in the beginning, it can be very difficult, very tiring, very strenuous. But with practice, it can be, you can ease into it. And it is possible, it is practical enough.
So, ma'am, could you please point out some advantages of 5 a.m. routine?
So the very first advantage of the 5 a.m. routine is that you get some extra time just to yourself. When you wake up at 5 a.m., most of the people are asleep. So you have that quiet time to yourself. And at that time, you can work on the things which may be a little difficult for you. Or the work where you need a lot of concentration, but you get distracted a lot. You start talking to someone, or there's a lot of noise around, or you have to attend to someone. So, you're unable to do that work. And that kind of work can be easily done with the 5 a.m. routine, because that 1 hour is just for you. I also read a story of an author who used to find it very difficult to write. But when they started with the 5 a.m. routine, they had that time to themselves where they did not get distracted by anything else, and they felt so focused. So this is one of the benefits.
This is the kind of anxiety that happens these days, technical glitches and all these things, everything, right? So I was just saying this only, that there will be more situations, there will be more events, and they will keep happening. So stress, anxiety, and feeling sad because of life is a part of life. It is inevitable, but how you react to it, how you respond to it, how you cultivate your mindset about it, that is up to you. And honestly, I feel that whenever we experience adversity and we experience events like this and situations like this, it is for your growth. It is for your growth and definitely for your evolution. So definitely think like that. What is this problem trying to teach me? It is such a good mindset and such a good attitude to have. So always reframe, what can I learn from this, right?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
The key thing is about your lifestyle and your mindset, there is no problem that you cannot deal with or overcome if you have the right mindset. So definitely look into how you can, become more emotionally intelligent. Just lean into these uncomfortable feelings. And the one message that has come out of this whole COVID situation is, the only way to heal it is to feel it. Okay, so yeah, that is one thing that I wanted to just throw out there for everyone. Yeah, and actually, while we're at it, I mean, now that I'm thinking, journaling is so good. Just letting it out. You can use prompts like "I'm feeling," "I felt," or "I feel," and just see what comes out. And then always end it with what I told you. Even though I'm feeling blank, whatever feeling, I am willing to love, accept, and forgive myself. I love the part of me that is feeling blank, whatever the feeling is coming, whatever feeling is coming up for you. So yeah, that really works.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Environment Questionnaire, a set of questions designed with the aim to know the basis of an individual and works as a base for further action.
This is the questionnaire section. Here, you will be required to provide a few basic information about yourself, such as your current educational status, your future goals, etc. This is just to draw a precursory sketch before you begin your journey with us and our mentors.
The benefits of the Environment Questionnaire for working executives is knowing your version and work towards making it better. Gap analysis is done to find right solutions, understanding and identifying your needs from the base and working towards it, as well as knowing and identifying your goals and what needs to be done next. The benefits of the Environment Questionnaire for university students is knowing their version and making it better, bringing you from the zone of concern to the zone of comfort, assist you adequately using your environment and support system, as well as recognizing the needs from the very beginning and working on the same. The benefits of Environment Questionnaire for school students is knowing their version and making it better with an external expert view, help them leverage their environment and support system to drive them correctly, help them bridge a gap, help them bridge
about happiness in life. Consider that everything that we do about life and everything that we do in life is all about eventually being happy. Happiness is the ultimate goal of life. Levels of happiness could vary, but the higher the level of happiness, the best it works.
Favorite line that I always, love to talk about, and something that I love to use on myself is also that, there is nothing that can't be worked on, right? Everything in this world, almost everything, right? Almost everything is something that can be worked on, could be, developed, right? Could be improved. We as human beings have such amazing capabilities and capacity that once we identify a certain thing, we can definitely try to improve on the same.
If you're really, if it is paining you, probably it's not your strength area, it's a weak area, right? If maths pain you, probably maths is not your strength area. If you love talking with people, maybe communication is your strength area. So some of these things, you will know it yourself. Further, apart from that, do ask your friends. Please ask your friends, what do you think I'm really good at? And they will tell you, rattle down those 3-4 things that you're really good at. Ask your parents. And sometimes parents also tell, मेरा बेटा इसमें से बहुत अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा मैथ्स में अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा दोस्तों के साथ बहुत अच्छी तरह से रहता है. They keep telling these things oftenly without you noticing it. So whatever they repeatedly tell about you, good about you, is your strength area, right? So ask your teachers. Teachers observe you. They see your scores, they see your habits, they see your behaviors. Based on that, they will tell you what you're really good at. Second
so
thing,
what are the changes that's happened things that are looking very different is work from home may continue to be a way of life because organizations have realized, people have realized that nothing, there are lots of things that can be done as well from home and possibly better. And those professions will perhaps continue to enjoy the benefit of working from home, if I might call that. Education and training have already gone digital, but there's a lot of scope of improvement. And with that, there would be a lot of training of the trainers that will come into play. We perhaps will not have to travel so much from work because earlier we used to just take a flight for a 1 hour meeting to Chennai or for some training session to attend in Dubai. And that's
The
definitely
way I look at analyzing work or a analogy to work is more to do with your mind, where you do your all logical things, your aspirations, everything is logical.
The message here is we all have our starting points, we have our journeys, and we have our destinations. So today it might look like we're not headed anywhere, but in the end, it will all work out. So there's no need to be disheartened at all, and it is absolutely fine to be an average. The second part of the story goes where it comes about finding your own mojo. While I was an average student, I ensured just one thing. I kept my desire to learn and keep that fire inside of me ignited. Whether it was traveling, meeting new people, or even exploring new cultures, it was all about upskilling myself for me. Although while learning, I didn't really know where that was actually heading to. But then if I were to look back and think and connect the dots, I have the job that I have today only because of the skills and knowledge that I gained.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. And the topic for today's webinar is mental and emotional well-being importance in current times. As it is rightly said, out of suffering, we have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are seared with scars. It's a free webinar and the participants will be receiving an e-certificate for the same. Before beginning today's webinar, I would like to state the steps to avail e-certificate. They are as follows. A. Attend the complete webinar. B. When you see thank you on the screen, there will appear a link to a Google attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback questionnaire emailed. Fill the questionnaire you get in the mail for your details. D. Follow our page. Whether you did or not is also in the questionnaire. If you did and replied in the affirmative and actually did not follow our page, you will not get the e-certificate. If all the above stated steps are followed, automatically an e-certificate will be issued online to you within 24 to 48 hours. MentorMitr is a mentoring organization. We aim to guide individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life lessons to manage complex situations while enhancing their academic performance to optimal. Our involvement helps students and working professionals to set the right goals and enables them to define and manage their priorities. Please put your questions in the YouTube chat box and we will be happy to take them in the end. We would like to introduce our first speaker for the webinar. We welcome Ms. Priyashi Srivastava. She is a psychologist, rehabilitation counselor, cognitive hypnotherapist, career and life coach. She is the founder of Vairagya Rehabilitating Life, India's first ever psychospiritual training school and center. She has helped more than 100 individuals across the nation to recognize their potential. She has completed her master's in clinical psychology from Amity University and pursued post-graduation diploma in rehabilitation psychology from Adarsh Rehabilitation Center in affiliation with Rehabilitation Council of India. She accorded the Achievers Award from the director of Amity University for her leadership skills in the field of psychology. She is a visionary with a mission to counseling services and training programs such as being the Conscious Parent Program, stress management program, life coaching program, hypnotherapy, and more. She has also conducted several webinars and training for corporates like Learn Infinity, Capital via Global Research Limited, and a lot more. I would now request ma'am to please enlighten our audience.
Hello everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. And thank you so much, Trisha, for giving such a beautiful introduction. So in today's webinar, so what actually is emotional well-being? Let's try to understand and figure that out. So we all know that we as a species are not just humans. We are human beings. And when it comes to the second word in this two words of a species that is we, most of us are likely to, fall short in order to practice it or in order to just be the beat. Most of the focus is majorly on the first word, that is human. So being human, how a humanity should be, how a human should be, we all know about it. But when it comes to well-being, this being is really, really important. Being is actually just the presence of remaining in the present moment, remaining in contact with today, with now. And so here we go. Emotional well-being, the first word, emotional. It comes from emotions, and what emotions are. Emotions are something really beautiful. We feel it, we feel all the emotions. And there is some understandings about emotions, which is really, really important to, understand or get a hand of. Emotions are meant to be expressed. They are not meant to be controlled. So the very first aspect here would be that we all should accept our emotions and express our emotions. And expression of emotions has never been a problem, but destructive expression of emotions has been. So it's important to understand and learn how we can express our emotions constructively.
Sorry to interrupt in between, ma'am, but your voice is very feeble. Could you please?
Okay, sure. All right, let me try something just a second.
Would you let me know if it is better?
Yes, ma'am, it's better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So the first factor that could actually affect our emotional well-being is our biology. Our genes, our heredity, they pass on so much information to us. And they continue to influence our hormonal system. The hormones which continue to influence our emotions, our state of being, our state of mind. There are a lot of cases where people start to suffer clinical depression or several other disorders because of their heredity or genes. So it's really important to take care of your biology. Other aspect would be the psychology of a person. So what is the attitude of a person towards a particular situation? How does the person actually deal with that particular situation when the person is actually in stress or in pressure? How do we interpret our environment? How do we interpret any situation given to us? What have been our past experiences? What have we learned from those past experiences? What has developed as our belief system? So all these things are really important. further we go, irrespective of our biology or our psychology, we have our physical environment, the environment in which we are present. So it's just that what or with whom we are interacting with, whether it's a workplace or whether there is this boss in your workplace, or you have your friends, you have your siblings, your family members, what are their, their relationships with you? That is really, really important. So how do they interact with you? How are you interacting with them? Then comes management skills. How are you able to cope up with certain traumatic events in your life? How is your life-work balance? Usually the term is famous as work-life balance, but I rephrase it as life-work balance. Life is our priority, as work is only a part of our life. So life shall come first, and then shall come the work. And there has to be a proper balance based upon the priority we have. Then obviously we have our health, our resources, and their sustainability as well. There are a lot of people who go through a lot of emotional, ups and downs or emotional traumas just because of their financial issues that actually have a toll on them. So how are we able to manage our resources, our finances? That skill is really going to impact how our emotional well-being is going to be. Then we have understanding and expression of emotions. As I said earlier, the expression of emotions is not wrong. What's wrong is the destructive expression of emotions. So we shall all learn how to express emotions constructively. So now it comes that during all this time, and since we are already talking about emotional well-being, how can we actually take care of ourselves in a healthy way? So the very first aspect is one must be aware about thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. See, these are the three things which are really, really important for us. Our entire personality is operated upon these three aspects. How are we thinking? How are we feeling? And how are we behaving? Thoughts leads to our emotions, and emotions leads to our behaviors. So one should get in touch with own self and create this relationship with the self. We always I'm having, and how are these two things leading me to certain behaviors? The more we become aware about thoughts and emotions, the more we can take care of them. It's just that we are able to know when do we have to take what step. It is very important to understand the self. So when I say having the relationship with the self, it brings us to understanding of what actually self is. There are different kinds of selves that we all have, leading on that. One could be our real and ideal self, which is really prominent for all of us. So real self is one that who we really are as a person, when no one is watching what we are doing, that's who we really are. Then we have an ideal self, an ideal personality that we would like to be, we would like to become, we aspire that one. And the more integration is there within real and ideal self, the better our psychological and mental health are going to be. The more disintegration leads to more problems, more psychological issues, and even to disorders. So integration in between real and ideal self is really, really powerful and is really helpful. Besides that, practicing yoga or inclusiveness is also one of the great techniques that you can take care of yourself in a much, much healthier way. So yoga does not just mean that you have to do some yogasanas or practice some physical exercises or do some Surya Namaskar. Yoga comes from the Sanskrit word yog, and it means union, oneness, unity amongst all. And when we talk about unity amongst all, it means that this person, who I am or who you are, dissolves. There is no person, no identity left. And what there is just a sense, an essence of just being connected with everybody, or say with every living organism here. That comes with the word inclusiveness. So we become inclusive for all. We accept everything. We accept every living being here. That's what yoga is. And this yoga can be practiced not just by doing yogasanas, but also by actions. So when we do certain actions without having any expectations, or just by thinking that this is something I'm offering for myself, to myself, through myself, by myself, or for the universe, by the universe, to the universe, through the universe. It's not anything that I am doing, it's just the universe doing or helping itself. So that's what inclusiveness is about. And it gives a sense of contentment. It provides a sense of bliss within us. When it comes to healthy self-care, breathing is an eminent aspect. So the way we breathe can actually identify or acknowledge the way we are feeling. You can experience it by yourself. If you are fearful, your breath will be different than if you are feeling compassion, your breath will be different. And breath can influence the way we feel, and the way we feel can influence our breath. So it's vice versa. It works both ways. So focus shall be upon training yourself to breathe in a certain way so that you can continue to experience a certain way. It's going to be really helpful to release your stress, to stabilize yourself, to create balance, to create integration as well. As I have already shared, that constructive expressions of emotions is just wonderful. The more you practice it, the more you are going to get benefit from it. Then we have communication. So listen, like our body, our mind, our relationships with other beings, everything is communicating with us. There is no such thing that cannot communicate with us. If I am present in a classroom, it communicates something. It communicates that I have an intention to learn. If I am bunking a class, it communicates I just want to have fun. So my presence or my absence, both are communicating. Similarly, our body communicates with us. When I have pain in my knees, I know that my knees need care. Same with the mind. When I have some negative thoughts or some harmful thoughts, I know that there is something I need to take care of. Similarly, with the relationships, when my real and ideal self are not intact, when they are disintegrated, I start to feel anxiety. And hence, that anxiety is also speaking to me, is also trying to communicate, is also sending me signals that there is something I need to settle down with. And this relationship with others, that's communicate as well. So listen more, be more aware about your body, mind, and relationships, because the more you listen, the more you are able to gather information about your body, mind, and relations. Then, in order to take care of yourself, I think prioritizing your certain tasks in daily life is really, really important. The better you prioritize, the better you know that what aspect of life or what task for you is more worthy for you. In that aspect, on that basis, you can prioritize your daily life routine. For example, taking care of yourself is, must be the utmost priority. Then we have taking care or training your patterns to your body, to your digestion, sleep. So everything in our body occurs in cycles, be it sleep, be it digestion, be it blood circulation. So you can actually train your body in a certain pattern, the patterns which are useful for you, which are going to influence your physiology, your psychology as well, your entire experience of this life. And the last could be, this is a practice that you can use to become more mindful about what you put into your body and mind. So what you eat is really important, and what you hear, what you talk is really, really important. So what are the symptoms when things are going wrong? So basically, how would you get to know that things are now going out of your hand? What could be that mark for you to understand and identify? So whenever you have certain conflicts which are actually impacting your physical, emotional, and occupational life, that's the time that you need to become aware that something is not going right. That's something you need to take care of. And that's actually alarming. It's not that you can just neglect it. You have to take actions. It's the point where you have to take actions. Next slide, please. So what you can do to change by yourself, what are the things that you can imply? You can become more mindful about these signs. You can communicate with your body, mind, and environment. I would rather say you can effectively communicate with your body, mind, and environment. So the better you communicate, the better things become for you. You can identify the root problem. So one is becoming mindful about, okay, what kind of thought I'm having. Okay, trying to communicate with it, trying to identify where this thought is coming from, then trying to seek solutions and becoming aware and create the balance in whatever is going haphazard in your life. So what are the things that you could use to create this balance? That could be journaling, venting out, your balanced diet, doing yoga, meditation, breath work, exercising, communicating with your relationship, with your friends, siblings. That could really help. Next slide, please. So when you have been trying to reach out to the solutions from your end, you have been trying to talk it out with your friends, trying to seek solutions based upon your friends' advices, and yet you are falling out of scarcity, that you are experiencing that, okay, I tried this, but it doesn't work. So suppose, let's say you are in a conflict and you talked about it with your friend. You might feel a little better after talking to your friends, but after 3 days, after 4 days, or maybe a week, the same thought sets in back. Same issues arise. You find yourself back to square one. That's one big sign for you. And when these things start to remain persistent in your life and create impact in the duration of these issues, in the frequency of these issues that are happening, and the intensity of these issues. These three aspects are really, really important. So when these three things are actually getting higher, seek professional help. Don't ignore it. Remember the 2 points. If you have talked to your friends, try it by yourself, but the problem is still persistent. And if duration, frequency, and intensity, these 3 things are actually going higher, reach out to the professional. Next slide, please.
That's the last slide, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Thank you. I hope this would have helped. If there is any questions, I would love to answer them.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your experiences and thoughts. It was our pleasure to listen to you. A note for our audience, please feel free to post your queries and we will love to take them in the end. Now, introducing our MentorMit's website. You can pay a visit to MentorMit's website at www.mentormitr.com. MentorMitr is a platform that systematically creates a program-based approach to enable students and working people to define their goals clearly and follow a method to achieve those predictably. Our focus area includes time management, goal setting, soft skills, priority management, emotional quotient performance, enhancement, and a lot more. Visit our website at www.mentormitr.com to infer more insights. Presenting to you the various courses offered by MentorMitr. We have numerous courses under 3 heads. They are for school-going students, university-going students, and for working professionals. For working professionals, our objective is to enhance their overall performance at the workplace and imbibe balance in their professional lives more efficiently. We have Compass Pro course, which requires 1 month of engagement, and Habit Formation Pro course, which commits 3 months of engagement. The program details include mind frames, analysis and counseling sessions, development of templates, and a lot more. For university-going students, we aim to enable them to make highly informed choices regarding their skills and career growth. We have certified mentors and counselors to help them reach their desired destination. We have habit formation course for success of 3 months of engagement and Compass course for direction setting, which commits 1 month of engagement. For university going students, the details of the program include future scope test, time tracker, counseling sessions, track options and template, and much more. For school going students, we prioritize their career development journey and also help them to attain their short term and long term goals. We have Ensure Optimizer course, which demands 12 months of engagement, Habit Formation course for success of 3 months of engagement, and Compass course of 1 month of engagement for school-going students. The details of the program include Discover test, psychometric assessment, one-on-one counseling sessions, time tracker, and a lot more. For more details and information, check out MentorMit's website. Introducing MentorMitr app. Via the link displayed on the screen, one can download the MentorMitr app for availing its benefits. One can also scan the QR code shown for the same purpose. Presenting you our app MentorMitr. The MentorMitr app is available on the Play Store. You all can download the app only on Android devices. The download is free of cost. Programs are paid. App is available in India, Philippines, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Italy, Malaysia, Nepal, Russia, Spain, and Thailand. It will be launched in other countries soon. Kindly download our app and get help in your career. If you have any queries with the app, please feel free to contact us or drop a mail at contact@mentormitr.com or connect@mentormitr.com. Now, presenting to you our next speaker of the evening, Ms. Laura Shelba. Ms. Laura is the founder of Laura, the Life Coach, and is a certified life coach and trainee, NLP practitioner, neuro-linguistic programming, helping her clients to transform their lives using a science evidence-based approach. Laura is also studying mindfulness CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, psychology DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, and to be a mental health first aider. Prior to this, Laura spent a 15-year career as an executive assistant supporting a variety of senior executives across global organizations. We welcome you, ma'am. Please enlighten us with your views. Over to you, Laura, ma'am.
I guess there is some network issue with Laura ma'am's laptop. She'll just be connecting in a minute, okay? So let's just wait for a minute or two. Thank you.
Preshi ma'am, we would like to take questions for you. Till then, we're expecting Laura ma'am. Okay, sure. Yeah. Preshi ma'am, the first question for you is, how do we ensure sound mental health independent of others' behavior? That means we are mentally sound just because of us and not because how our environment works.
That's a very great question. So when it comes to actually be aware of how we are and how we can function independently, it takes immense amount of training and exercise, as human beings, we all have conditioned behaviors. We have conditioned languages. We have learned these languages. When I say conditioned behaviors, it means that we all have learned behaviors. We have learned how to use Zoom. We have learned how to talk to people. We have learned how to use this language or mathematics and so on. Similarly, the way we respond to a particular situation is also learned. And if there is something that can be learned, that can also be unlearned, and with a new response, we can also relearn it. The most effective technique that I have understood or come across during my practice is with that comes with the understanding that we as human beings have been trained to identify ourselves with whatever people say or people tell us about who we are. So since we all were a child once, we all have been taught when to say our name or what our name is. With this name, we have identified ourselves so deeply, and that's not actually our fault. It's just because how the language is. The language is, I am Preyashi. So this very essence of who I am is this name. And my logical mind perceives it as I am equals to Preyashi. And thus, when I stepped out of my home to the school, all the students, the teachers, they always said something or the other with using the name Preyashi, referring me. Hence, they were saying everything to me. So that's how the mind starts to perceive information that it's taking in. So for example, Preyashi is a good girl. So I am equals to Preyashi. Preyashi equals to good girl. Hence, I am equals to good girl. And this is how it continues to go on. Preyashi is a bad girl. I am equals to bad girl. This is how we all have been poorly conditioned to attach the words said by other people with our sense of identity. And it's really sad to understand that who we are is just our name, but that isn't true. There are so many people out there who are orphan, who may not even have their name given by their parents, but yet they all have a presence. They all exist. They all are still human beings. So this does not mean that who we are is actually defined by our name. Who we are doesn't define by our name or by our parents, by our society, what other people think. Now, this understanding is something we need to get into our roots. The more aware you are about your identifications. Now, when I say identifications, that identification could be with anything. like your name, your age, your looks, your accounts, your designations, your work, your job, anything, your relationships. So identification is actually something that it's like an essence that you own something, but we don't own anything. When we come to this world, we come alone. We just come by ourselves. And when we go, we just go by ourselves. Not even this personality, this persona has been developed and conditioned through the years. But when a child is born, the child is just like a blank slate. Anyone can write anything on that slate. And the child would think, this slate belongs to me. Whatever is written over here belongs to me. That's who I am. But that's not the truth. Understanding this reality, getting it into the acceptance, and practicing the awareness, that mindfulness, that what has just been said or what has just been done has been done considering a particular person. But am I really that person? That's where it all comes down to. Now, this is easier said than done. I personally know this because I've been trying it for years and I still fail sometimes. But this is one way of actually stepping out of this conditioned or trapped environment we all are in. So the more you become aware about what other person has said is actually coming from their perception, is actually coming from their belief system, from their life experiences, from their past traumas, it becomes a little easier, isn't it? That what they are saying, how they are behaving is not about you, it's about them. And actually, that them is just a person. But this person whom we are looking to is not just a person. This is a human being. It's beyond that person. So we all change with time. Nothing is permanent. And so does this person. I have changed in years a lot. And I'm sure you all have had. And you all must have experienced your partners changing, your siblings, your parents changing with time. But that's how the nature of law is. Everything changes with time. But this very experience of who I am doesn't. So how do we remain independent about what's happening in our environment is just by getting this understanding that whatever is happening is not happening for me or because of me, because this very understanding or identification of me must dissolve. So there is a saying that says, when we lose ourselves, that's when we find ourselves. And when we lose, I could just rephrase it with, when we lose our identities, that's when we become, that's when we actually discover who we are. And a very small example could be, as we all have been taught that 2 + 1 is equals to 3, but 2 + 1 is also equals to 2 + 1. Hence, we do not need a definition to define who we are. We do not need any sense of identity. So my sense of I am can only be I am. I am equals to I am. And that's it. No words, no adjectives, no designations are required. Getting into such practices actually would lead you on to a very spiritual path. And with that would come bliss and joy in your life. I hope that it helps you.
Thank you, ma'am, for such an insightful answer. Now I'll present you with our next speaker of the evening, Mr. Anil Sharma. Mr. Anil Sharma is an engineer, MBA, and has 25+ years of corporate experience in leadership positions. He strongly believes that life skills, EQ, Not just IQ and knowledge of self-management needs to be learned, which requires right mentorship and training. The same should be done in one's life sooner than a job for lasting success and happiness. We welcome you, sir. Please enlighten us with your views.
Thank you so much. And thank you, MentorMitr, for having me on board to talk on the topic on which, honestly, Priyashi is the expert. What I can share with you is my experiences. So, Achil, I hope I'm audible, visible, everything.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, thank you, Priyashi, for such a detailed explanation, right from biological to actually being psychologically affected and the solutions thereof. Thank you so much for the talk. I'm sure audience has benefited already. There's very less for me to say, but I would just try to do my part, which is not behind the science of how being emotionally more stable or being happy or coming out of troubled times, coming out of a troubled mental state maybe. And you know what I figure out more so in last 1.5 years, the pandemic is around, that it is others, you know, who would make more on what you do, what you are doing or not, or what you are doing good, what you are doing bad. And because we are in a space where, you know, we are also not happy with ourselves. And I'll just get into reasons which I identify as a practitioner, of not mental health, actually mentoring a lot of people and getting mentored myself. And I find that what is important is to understand that we've been in a mentally and physically in a troubled state more so in last 1.5 years than ever before. And the reason for that is that, one, we are physically confined to a territory, a home, a room, apartment. And what that does is that take away the normal ergonomics of our movements, our interactions. So imagine if somebody is going to work and he or she works 8 to 10 hours in an office. Now actual work is maybe 5-6 hours. What do you do in other 2 hours? Well, you do some work related face-to-face connection with people. You also have a cup of tea on the side, on a cafeteria or a tea machine. You also have lunch with people. You interact with people on a one-to-one personal basis. You interact with people in groups, small groups, large groups. And what happens is you go through a lot of emotions, which sometimes work triggers. Work also triggers anguish when you are trying to prove a point and somebody is not getting it. Then when they are trying to put a point and you are not getting it, so what happens? There is an interaction. What that interaction facilitates is went to whatever else is going on. So while we are talking to somebody work, we're going for another emotion which we brought from home maybe that morning. And you're finding a vent. If you are not in a good mood, your anger finds a vent. If you're in a very good mood, very high energy, the work finds your vent and you are able to achieve that day. And if you are a student, if you're a young student who was going to school and college, well, you were having a lot of side talks, cafeteria talks, likewise, and you were getting vents. Now, one good thing, result of pandemic is that you're getting a vent and you found digital solution. But you know, even when I'm talking to you, well, I had a day full of interaction, actual physical interaction with people with all safe distance for last 7-8 hours. And I can tell you, I'm at a higher energy, even with a limited interaction, in the sense that this was a day every day for me before the pandemic. And I'm feeling so relieved that I could discuss, I could get a lot of points, I could get a lot of perspective. which has had stopped happening. And what has that done is that while digital is helpful in communicating, in getting work done, it may not alone, it may not be as effective as a maybe being digital or physical or digital. So this is one other reason. And of course, I mean, a lot of us people got financially affected. You've had pay cuts, or you lost your job, or you are a student who's lost an year, or you're not lost an year, but your results are delayed. So now you can't apply to a university, maybe, or if you are an undergraduate, you're thinking, what would I do for my post graduation? There has been some sort of uncertainty surrounding all of us, and that uncertainty causes the anxiety or the emotions which come out in one form or other, to which people react. Now, this is why of the problem. I'll briefly talk about what has helped me, what has been helping me pass through this period, even despite having normal work stress or relationship stress or stress of not moving out. Apart from that stress, the factors, three factors I spoke: physical, mental, emotional, and mental, emotional, and financial. I put some few things on mind, so which kind of keeps haunting your mind, and it is maybe it is not on surface, it is an undercurrent, or maybe it is on a surface on a particular day because you met somebody sneezed some distance away from you, or you opened the gate and you found something which wasn't good, or you were not sure if you did everything right today physically also. So this has compounded. Now, what happens? How do you emotionally react? One is, how do you react to yourself? And two, how do you react to the world? I found that if you react yourself well, you are good for world. For example, what have I started? I've improved my listening. What that helps you is that once you have listened the one side of the story completely, and you have another second or third side coming from somewhere in a digital communication, and you have your side also, you give yourself a lot of time when you listen to act, react, and sometimes you choose not to speak on a subject and absorb it and sleep over it. So one is listening, other is being patient. Being patient, and both need each other. So if you are patient, it will enhance your listening. Or if you're listening, you can patiently hear others. So that helps, and that helps. And listening, other is being patient. Just a moment. Both need. And what that does is that it gives you time to react and also understand others' perspective, and then you can give somebody your perspective. And if you listen to somebody and tell them to give you a listening tip, that helps prevent irritation internally to you and to other person. And what also this helps is not jumping to the conclusion. So I'm saying, while Priyashi talked about why of right from genetics till behavioral aspect of it, I'm getting into solution which can work for a common person like you and me, who does not understand the science of being emotionally disturbed or needing help or feeling suffocated or exhausted. And another thing which has helped me is putting yourself in somebody's shoes. So if my child, for example, is arguing with me, and I'm still in an argumentative state physically, mentally, I'm processing this information, and I try to, for example, put myself into the shoes of the kid, or I try to put myself in the shoes of the speaker or the person who's talking to me, addressing me, or is at a loggerheads with me, or is not agreeing to a point which I'm trying to make, or I'm just saying, how do you physically measure it and how do you react to it, and what helps common. And when you think why somebody could think like this, do I make somebody feel like that? Oh, it's not me, it's his situation, or it's his fault, or it's his or her guilt, or it could be his or her day, or it could be they haven't got it what you're trying to say. Let's have another conversation, maybe not today, about it. So when you put yourself into their shoes, you can see their side of the story. But it is sometimes we are in conversation, we are in interaction, and we don't have that kind of time that we give people benefit of doubt and we give people enough patient hearing, because you're also going to say. And I'm saying it is okay to be agitated. It's okay to be irritated as long as you can reflect back and go back to the person. So I have at times shouted at people in this period. When I found that it was not their fault, it was my fault, I picked the phone and I said, I'm sorry for my behavior. I think you had a point. Well, you know what I found in more than majority of cases, they realized they also said something which hurt me, or they also were not getting it. They said, no, no, no. It's good of you that you say so, but we think we also should have corrected this. And sometimes what happens is that this emotional versus logical debate goes into your mind. So why, when you are talking and it affects me, I can logically conclude somebody is not rightly behaving. I'm logically saying he's loud, he or she is not right behavior today. Maybe he or she had a bad day. Even if I apply that logic, I think people need each other's support emotionally. So, and if it cannot happen during the conversation, I think we should take a pause, take a back seat, reflect upon the situation, and it's to the both parties. So I'm saying, I'm just what I did in last 10 minutes or so was to take you through a day in one's life today, and how one's interacting, how is it one's emotionally reacting, and how one can come out of it. So and I wish that it could help you. I'm sure what Priyashi already spoke has been very, very helpful, and also to me. But these are a few things I have been trying to do, and it sometimes puts a lot of pressure on mind. But at the end of it, I would have sanity. And I've even met a couple of people who counsel, and I found, well, I have enough sanity that some of them either. And they could also use it, honestly, and I can use their advice if I need to really, really, really counsel them. So I would just say that what I'm just saying is not a substitute. So when Priyanshi said, when you get the symptoms that you need help, professional help, you should. And when it is needed, you should. But every day you cannot do that also. So how do you deal with your day? How do you deal with your work? How do you deal with your life in midst of this situation? These are some tidbits on this. I'm sure you know a few things too, and all this could help you maybe improve one point of what maybe I said or she said. And I think that's good for an hour of investment of your time. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you, MentorMitr, for having me here. I hope it was helpful. I'm around for any questions to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights. It has been very enriching. If you both permit, shall we proceed with the audience questions now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's begin with the first question.
Okay. So I can't hear you. Answer.
Yes, sir. So the first question is how to deal with people who are mentally vulnerable and not in a sound mind.
I think Priyashi should answer this. Yes.
Hi. So, when you say mentally vulnerable, would you like to elaborate that phrase, those words for me? What do you mean by mentally vulnerable?
Ma'am, for example, if a person is has an unhealthy mindset and is vulnerable to situational circumstances and all, so how can the person control his surrounding and also inculcate positivity around him?
So let me get this very clear, that you are with somebody else, and that somebody else, say Mr. X, is actually mentally vulnerable to certain situations. Is that the situation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, all right. So the very first thing I would like to say is be compassionate, because we do not know why this person is mentally vulnerable. So this person may have some personality issues, or the person may have some heredity problem. The person may be experiencing some situational issues at home, or maybe some other thing, right? Maybe some past trauma. So we do not really know other people, right? So try to be compassionate as much as you can. And when we say compassionate, this just doesn't mean to be polite with them. It means to, as Mr. Anil said, to actually put yourself into their shoes, and getting to see that if I do not know what the person's situation is, and I would still be in their shoe, how am I going to connect? With that kind of, if that's the thing that's coming to your mind, I would like to say that when anyone is experiencing uncertainty, that's when the person is most vulnerable. Majority of the population I'm talking about. So when you put yourself into the shoes of the others, and you do not know in what circumstances they really, really are, you would start to feel their vulnerability as well. So that's one key, being compassionate. Another is try to see the beauty in every situation. And this is actually really, really powerful. When you see yourself in something really, unpleasant and undesirable situation, try to ask yourself question, there is something which is beautiful in this moment. What is it? I just need to find it out. And believe me, it works. In this question where you just said, which you just mentioned, I can say that one of the examples that could be most appropriate could be when a person next to you is having suicidal thoughts. In the most extreme cases I'm talking about. This is the most extreme case. When the person is having suicidal thought, the person may attempt something. The person is talking to you. What would you do? You seek beauty in the person, in the situation, and within yourself. And that's the same to the person as well. If they won't be able to find out any single thing which is beautiful, they must know that the person whom they are speaking with is beautiful, because you are actually there. They have you, and that's pretty beautiful to be able to open up enough to actually become vulnerable and actually talk it out when you're actually having self-harming thoughts. So being compassionate and finding the beauty. With these two, positivity comes by itself. I always tell to my clients that there is no such thing as positivity or negativity. It's just about our perception. It's just about the meaning we attach to any particular situation. So, for example, if I hurt myself, like suppose I had an accident, if I could just interpret it as a very, very bad signal, and I could just switch my place where I'm living right now. Whereas I get hurt and I just start my treatment for it. So these are the two ways of interpreting a particular event in our lives. And same is applied with situations where you have other person around you. So it's just about the way you are interpreting your reality or your situations or circumstances. And that perception of yours becomes your reality. So what your reality is totally depends upon how you are going to perceive any situation. So I think these would be the three brief points like being compassionate, finding the beauty in the moment, in the situation, and within yourself and the other, and just being able to, recognize and see things as it is. When you attach some meaning to it, it becomes totally different. I think that would help.
Thank you, ma'am, for providing us with an insightful answer. I would now request sir to please add his views on the same.
Well, I'm, as Priyashi said, that you cannot label somebody to be mentally threatened or mentally vulnerable. People react in kinds, and the reaction need to be checked on merit, and remedy exists. And I mean, I think Priyashi has given enough examples for me not to elaborate beyond the point. I would just say that it is one's emotional behavior in a circumstance which need to be measured at merit or checked at merit, and accordingly a response need to be given, which she is very nice. That's what I would say.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the last question. So the question is, how do we take the right decisions when we are stressed and tensed? Priyashi ma'am, could you please take the lead?
Sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's such a beautiful question. And I was just talking about it with one of my clients in the morning itself. So I would just share the same here. When it comes to take right decisions, what actually is a right decision, we do not know. So when we are taking a decision, we would never get to know if that decision is right or not. Because the state of any decision being right is only understood after the time passes on and when it gives us the results. So if you see it, then you can take it as every decision could be right if you are taking lessons from your experiences. Besides that, I would really like to put on something really, really useful. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna talks about the 5 bases of religion. And why I'm bringing religion word here, because the real meaning of religion is the righteous path. So it's all about, the righteous path is something which can't go wrong, right? There are so many misconceptions today related to religion, but when I'm saying religion, please understand it as the righteous path. So there are 5 pillars: compassion, love, justice, patience, and devotion. If you want to have your life leading towards a righteous path, which involves right decisions in life, then try to practice to implement these 5 traits within you. I would repeat again: love, compassion, patience, justice, and devotion. By attaining these 5 states within yourself, and at that moment when you would take a decision in your life, that's going to be a right decision, I think.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable answer. We are pleased to hear you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir, for having your time, and it really helped us. Before concluding the webinar, lastly, I would like to repeat the steps to avail the e-certificate. First, attend the complete webinar. Second, when you see "thank you" on the screen, there will appear a link to a Google attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback questionnaire emailed. Third, fill the questionnaire you get on mail, few details. Fourth, follow our page, whether you did or not, are also in the questionnaire. If you did and replied in affirmative and actually did not follow our page, you will not get the e-certificate. If all the above stated steps are followed, automatically an e-certificate will be issued online to you within 24 to 48 hours. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You can get in touch with us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also visit our website and email us with your queries, feedback, or suggestion. We are here to help you with the right guidance. Thank you for attending the webinar once again. I would like to thank you, ma'am and sir, for this insightful session.
Thank you, Achal. Thank you, Ms. Ranil, and everyone who has joined us today, and especially MentorMitr. Have a really nice evening, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. We are pleased to have you.